Good afternoon and welcome to all in today's fourth installment of ITS Canada's 2020 Supplier webinar series. Today, we are being joined by four members: Nektar 3D Consulting, Doc Inc., Encom Wireless, and Kapsch, who will share their new initiatives, products, or services to aid the industry in response to COVID-19 pandemic. Each company will be given 10 minutes to present, followed by a 5-minute Q&A. If you have any questions that you would like to ask of the presenters, please use the question pane, and after the presentation, I will share those questions with the respective presenter. Each of our past webinars, I'd like to start with a quote or a poem, and today I want to share this with you. While we have hit pause on meeting in person, but leadership is not canceled. Collaboration is not canceled. Growth is not canceled. New ideas are not canceled. And innovation is not canceled. And these webinars are certainly an example of that. Our first presenter is Dr. Suliman Gargoum. Suliman is currently the Chief Research Officer of Nektar Inc. and Nektar 3D Consulting Inc. He holds a PhD in Transportation Engineering from the University of Alberta, with a focus on the application of sensor data in improving highway design and transportation infrastructure management strategies. Over the past few years, Dr. Gargoum has published over 30 peer-reviewed research papers in top-tier transportation journals and conference proceedings, and has received multiple Best Paper and Best Presentation awards. This includes accolades from the Transportation Association of Canada, TAC, the U.S. Transportation Research Board, TRB, and the Canadian Society of Civil Engineers. And with that, I am going to change presenter to Suliman. Suliman.
Thanks, Yannicka. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, sounds good. So thank you for that introduction, and thanks to everyone who is listening in here today. And thank you to ITS Canada for putting this webinar series together. So in this presentation, I'm going to be talking about how we can use LIDAR technology to help us meet the restrictions that have been imposed as a result of COVID-19, and which have impacted, of course, transportation and construction projects. So before I get into that, just a quick introduction of about the Nektar Group. So Nektar started off as an asset and data management company in almost just over 10 years ago, and then since then it's recently gone into the market of collecting and processing remote sensing data, and with a particular focus on transportation applications. So as we all know, COVID-19 has been associated with lots of different restrictions which impact us regardless of where we are, whether we're at the office, at home, in public spaces, or even on a job site. We're still expected to maintain our distance. We're expected to spend less time on site. If it's a job site, we're expected to have less people on site, avoid gatherings, and we're expected to minimize unnecessary contact with surfaces unless they get disinfected. So everyone's well aware of the restrictions. Now, before I get into how LIDAR technology can help meet and manage those restrictions, just a quick definition of what LIDAR is. And I'm pretty sure the majority of the listeners already know what LIDAR is, particularly in the world of self-driving vehicles and autonomous vehicles. So this is the same technology that I'm going to be talking about. It's just when we're using different scanning systems with different capabilities, we get more accurate data and higher point density. So LIDAR is a remote sensing technology that uses light rays to collect positional information about objects. So in mobile laser scanning, which is the most common form of laser scanning in transportation, the way the data is collected is a laser scanning system is mounted on top of a data collection truck, and then as the truck drives down the road, it captures a 360-degree representation of the surrounding environment. So what you see right here is Nektar 3D's laser scanning system. So it consists of lots of cameras, 2 sensors, a GNSS system, and IMU. So that's the system mounted on the truck, and this is the way the data is collected. So you drive down the road at roadway speed, and as the truck drives down the road, the system creates this point cloud that you see right here. And then this is another sample of a point cloud scan. So the way this data was collected on the Waterdale Bridge here in Edmonton was just by driving the truck down the road at around 50-60 kilometers an hour. So as we drive down the road, a single survey pass, it creates this virtual point cloud, this virtual representation of the surrounding environment. Now, back to how the technology can help during COVID-19. So as I already mentioned, we're trying, even though we're gradually getting back to work now and opening up our work job sites and so on, we're still going to try and maintain our distances. We're going to make sure we're not making unnecessary contact with surfaces without disinfecting them. We don't want too many people making contact with the same surface. And as I said, we need less people on site as well. Now, due to the way the technology is collected, LIDAR data sets are collected. All you need to collect data is to drive the vehicle with the scanner on top down the road. So you're spending much less time on site. You just need a single survey pass to be able to collect all that data. You're also spending, you also need less people on site. One person is capable of operating the scanner, and that same person can then drive the truck down the road and just constantly collect the data sets. So you need less time on site, you need less people on site. You also need less site visits, because the amount of information, all the information that you need is basically collected in that single drive down the road. So you drive down the road and you collect everything about signs, curbs, cross sections, road profiles. All the information that you need is collected at once, so you don't need to go back to site. So all the line work that you see in this animation right here was extracted from the point clouds themselves. There was no need to visit the site again. Now, due to the virtual nature of the technology, you can also measure information, you can estimate quantities, all without making any contact with any surfaces or any tools. So you can simply go into those virtual point clouds and you can extract the information that you're interested in, whether it's measuring areas, measuring cross slopes, extracting information about your road profile. All that information can be extracted virtually. So you're not making any contact with surfaces, and you're not using any tools to measure or extract that information that you're interested in. So speaking of how virtual the scans are, they also facilitate virtual communication among project participants. So if I'm working from home here and I've got a colleague who's working from their own home, and we want to conduct a virtual site visit together, we can simply do that by just sharing a URL link. So this is a link, a URL link to a scan that was collected in Edmonton here along 109th Street. So you can simply zoom in, virtually visit that site. You can measure information if you're interested in doing that, verifying, validating certain quantities by simply just sharing this URL amongst the different project participants. So all you need is a internet connection. There's no need for any software installations, any packages, nothing. And this is another link, but this is to an entire neighborhood. So here we have an entire neighborhood that was scanned here in Edmonton, and you can access that entire neighborhood by just sharing this URL link. So it's a virtual scan of that entire neighborhood. You can go in, you can measure information, you can verify, validate, and so on. So the big question now is, where is this technology valuable? What transportation projects is it most valuable? And the benefits lie in lots of different projects. So there's lots of different transportation projects that can benefit from the technology, of course, at different levels. But regardless of what project you're working on, ranging from grade widening projects, functional planning studies, topographical surveys, neighborhood renewals, bridge inspections, all those different projects listed right here, all those transportation projects can actually benefit from the technology, of course, at different levels. And at different phases as well. You can benefit during the planning stage, during the design, during construction, depending on what your interests are. Now, with what remains of this presentation, I'm just going to talk briefly about the Nektar data management platform and how we can manage documents. We can perform paperless management of documents using the platform. So the Nektar data management platform is a cloud-based asset management platform, and it facilitates management of transportation assets, equipment, green spaces, as well as documents. So there's lots of clients that use the Nektar data management platform to manage their payroll documents. So it's an app-based platform where you just scan a QR code for your document, your asset, and then that brings up an asset attribute table, and then you can assign work orders and assign different tasks to specific assets. So those assets could be trees, they could be traffic signs, they could be any assets technically that exist that you're looking to track. But they can also be contracts and documents. And what we've introduced recently, what the Nektar team has introduced recently due to COVID-19, is the ability to not only virtually share documents amongst different project participants, but also to virtually review and sign those documents from your own personal phone or your tablet that you're using. So in the past, we would pass along the tablet if we're conducting a safety meeting. This would be the safety report, and then we would pass the tablet or the phone around so everyone can sign off. What we've introduced since COVID-19 is multiple people signing off that same document, but on their personal device. So you can virtually sign that document, virtually review and sign that document. But then everyone, even if you're conducting a safety meeting with 5 different people, every single person can then sign that document from their own personal phone. So there's no need to pass on any paper, any iPad, any pen. Everyone's just keeping just using their own devices. So this is something that's extremely useful regardless of what field you're working in. So with that, I'd like to thank you all very much, and if you have any questions, you can always feel free to reach out or ask the questions through the question box. Yes.
Thank you very much, Suliman. Exactly 10 minutes, perfect.
Yeah.
I have two questions.
Yeah.
Do extreme weather conditions affect LIDAR, or the way that you collect data, or not?
Yeah, so that's a really good technical question. So we can't collect data when it's raining because or when it's snowing because of the rain and the rain droplets and then the particles. They create lots of noise in the LIDAR scans. So it's mainly clear conditions when we're collecting the data sets.
Okay, thank you. And you talked quite a bit about the effect of COVID-19 and how things are done virtually. Do you think that for Nektar 3D, that this will change the way that you operate in the future or your business models?
That's a really good question. So we're still not even sure about that, because we're expecting, as I described in the presentation, we're actually expecting more interest in using the technology due to the reasons that I just mentioned. Everyone's trying to transform as much as they can of their daily operations into virtual operations. So as far as the business model is concerned, I think it's basically gonna be able to appeal to more people, because apart from just the value of the technology to COVID-19, there's lots of other values in terms of the efficiency in which the data can be collected, the accuracy of the data sets, and so on. So yeah, I think there's going to be, it might actually improve our business model even more.
Thank you very much for that excellent presentation.
Yep.
As you see, we're now moving on to presenter number 2, Emily.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Emily Webb is the CEO and founder of Dock, Inc., a digital reservation system for parking built on Dialogflow. In 2014, Emily launched the Airbnb for parking on a mobile application and has since evolved Dock's technology to a software as a service, utilizing voice technology and chatbots to upgrade payment processing within the parking industry. Emily is a member of the Intelligent Transportation Society of America and sits on their International Planning Committee for the World Congress, Autonomous Vehicle Cybersecurity Subcommittee, and Advocacy Trust. She is also a proud member of ITS Canada. And with that, I am going to make Emily the presenter. Emily, over to you.
I just lost my screen. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Yannicka and ITS Canada. I'm sorry for the hiccup. My computer is having a hard time connecting to the audio. I had everything set up, but we will continue. So my name is Emily. I am the CEO of Dock, which is a parking reservation software. I'm going to give you a brief overview of what we do and what this looks like. So what Dock is a chatbot agent. As you can see here in the lower right-hand corner, we build conversational interfaces on website widgets, text messages, Google Assistant, and we have integrated a reservation software within these conversations. So one of my clients is a university that we have built a bot for, and you can make parking reservations for semester parking passes here. As you can see, you just choose one of these lots, and through the website widget and an interactive experience, you can, that's weird, that's not working. You can book these semester parking passes. So here you can see some lots that you can choose from. You select to get started, and you can pay for parking through this type of interface. I've also developed a way to make parking reservations through text messaging, which I will show you over here. As you can see, this is a text message, and you just type a simple code like sale. Sale is one of our clients in Los Angeles. We give you a description of the lot. You tap on the link. You can pay through Apple Pay, Google Pay, or Venmo. It's all through text message, and you check out and you get your confirmation here. So I have built these chatbot agents for people outside of the software industry and have this reservation system integrated into these chatbots. And it inspired me to build a new product to help during COVID. So one of my friends is an expert in emergency preparedness, and for years she has been telling me about these bug out bags, which are to be used for emergency to-go kits on the run. When an emergency hits and you need a 72-hour survival kit, you grab these bug out bags. So I don't know if any of you guys have heard of them before, but I will show you here what a bug out bag looks like. So she really promotes, my friend promotes these for people to leave in their car during earthquakes in California, should an earthquake hit when you're on the highway, any types of disasters, a tornado's coming, any type of emergency. And she's been selling me on this idea for years, and then finally COVID hit. I was speaking to a friend at DHS, Department of Homeland Security, and he said to me, you should have a bug out bag. and I didn't really think I needed one, and it scared me a little bit. And so I looked more into it, and I started collecting a lot of information from FEMA and from the World Health Organization and all of the materials that they've put together for emergency preparedness, but it's not really presented in a modern fashion where people would really be digging into these extended landing pages to go find, you know, what do you do during a tornado or a virus outbreak. So what I did is I took my experience with building chatbots, and I have a reservation software, and I launched a company with my friend called Quarantine Emergency. And this is just a extended chatbot that is launched into a full screen. And I focused a lot on emergency preparedness and family planning and just little tidbits to help people. You can type anything in here, like a tornado, and information will automatically pop up on, you know, what to do when a tornado comes, natural hazards, a lot of things that happen during these disasters is families go through trauma. And one of the things that I learned while putting this chatbot together was how important immunity is on across the board, our mental strength, our physical strength, our emotional strength, and how this gets us through these tough times. But as a product and something that was tangible that I could sell and get out to the public and bring awareness to is this bug out bag. So in our little chat bot here, you can choose a bug out bag, and we have the survival items that you can look at, a photo gallery of what's in the bug out bag. So if you go to the survival items, you'll see that we have all these really cool things like a rope bracelet, a Mylar blanket, and we tell you different ways that you can use them and why these products would be good for times of emergency. So what I did was create this whole chatbot agent, and now we're trying to promote these bug out bags for people and to help people become more prepared. And I'm really focusing on emergency preparedness. So it's not so much of a really crazy software play as it is bringing light to the fact that everybody should have a bug out bag in their home, in their car to take with them. And this is a very holistic bag with Himalayan sea salt, which is a survival nutrient, chia seeds, and just very basic stuff like water packs that you need. Let me see if I can get you onto some different items that we have in here. You'll see these emergency water packs and aqua tabs. So water is obviously really important, but if your house gets destroyed by a tornado, you know, what are you going to use to quench your thirst and to have some simple nutrients for your children? And so we're going to expand this into different types of items like aromatherapy, which can be very healing for anxiety and stress, different types of oils, other different types of trinkets that might be really helpful for the trauma that families experience. And so I used my software system for parking, and I built out this agent for bug out bags.
Was that the presentation, Emily?
Yes, that's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me go see if I have any questions. So thank you very much for the presentation. Question about the parking reservation, is that also available in Canada, or is that only US based?
US based, but of course, happy to work with Canada.
Thank you very much. Same for the backout bags, national delivery or also international delivery?
International, of course, we will serve Canada. Thank you.
Perfect. Good. Okay. And so I know you have worked remotely, and I was just wondering how COVID-19 is going to impact doc in the future, as most of us are still staying at home. Has it had any immediate impact on your parking reservation software or the product?
Just in terms of reservations have dropped, but people have still been parking throughout the quarantine. And in fact, I think because of all of the sanitary aspects that people are going to be freaked out by, I think in public transportation, people will be more likely to be driving their cars, and we're going to be turning more into digital payment systems, so you don't have to have a valet person get in your car and touching your steering wheel, and you don't have to deal with swiping your card and taking tickets. And I think that it's actually going to open up more opportunity for my company in the future for people to use these digital reservation systems.
Thank you. Those were the questions. Sorry, no, there's one here. Enrique is wondering, are you using doc for truck parking?
Truck parking?
Yes.
No, not currently. However, I'd be open to working to see what type of issues the trucking industry is facing, and we have a lot of different software that I didn't show here today, so please reach out to me with any questions.
Wonderful. I'll connect the two of you. Thank you very much. And can everybody see my screen, hopefully? Yes. And now it's over to Travis. Travis Hume is the Director of North American Sales for Encom Wireless Data Solutions. Travis started his career with Motorola Solutions Agency, focusing on mission-critical PTT solutions for first responders like police and fire departments. After expanding his sales experience in the office services and building supply industries, Travis re-entered the wireless communication world with Encom and is dedicated to providing world-class sales support and service to the traffic industry. And Travis, I am going to make you the presenter.
Righty. Can you guys, is the meeting webinar screen blocking the view at all?
Nope.
No, you're good? Okay, yep. Everybody. Thank you for that introduction, Yannicka. So we're going to talk about remote control and monitoring in a post-COVID world and what we can do here at Encom. Now, if we continue on here, just get my laser pointer. So just a brief overview. You know, we've been a supplier of wireless data network for equipment for over 30 years. And in that time, one of our main priorities, we were maybe a little bit ahead of the trend. Nektar was just talking about how in the world we're going to be moving over to a more of a virtual experience, how much we can do, remotely in terms of control and monitoring of different things out there in the field. Well, we were already kind of looking down that path because there is a certain cost and time efficiency aspect to things if you can do things remotely, certainly there's a cost saving and a time savings of on-site, and it makes things easier for techs in the field to be able to get an idea of what's going on in their system. So, we're gonna take this idea of remote control and monitoring and explore upon that a little more, and it's as prudent as ever in a post-COVID-19 world. That said, we're just briefly about our company. We are very focused on providing our customers with the utmost integrity and competitive urgency, meaning very, very quick replies, very quick solutions to problems in the field. And we are focused on educating the industry to our remote control and monitoring capabilities. We are headquartered in Calgary, Alberta, and part of that focus on re-education comes through our national distributor network of sales and service. We've partnered very strategically with partners all over Canada, the United States, and during this COVID time, we have really educated and emphasized our remote control and wireless products. So with that, our Harmony, we're going to focus on our Harmony series, a couple of our Harmony series products. And basically, again, these all come back to allow you to control and monitor remote sites from the comfort of your desk. At your traffic control center or your main control center. Why is this important? It allows for less time on site for COVID-19 compliance. More and more and more. If you can do it from the comfort of and safety of a sterilized room or anything like that, then you're going to be more in compliance with the ever-changing regulations as a consequence of COVID-19. Now, our Harmony series are not inclusive to broadband Encom broadband networks. In fact, we're interoperable with any municipal or industrial network, including fiber optic, 3, 4G cell, copper, whatever it is we can use to make sure that you don't have to go out there on site and put yourself at risk or put your schedule at risk. If something can be done easily from a remote site, then we're going to help you do that. It's all simple, easy to use, and it's based off of our central management system, Stratos Elite. Now, all these products are SNMP enabled, so that if with a little engineering work and a little tech support, we'll be able to make these products work in functionality and with other central softwares as well. This is a very basic diagram of how something like that would work, and it's actually the Gateway Basic, this product here, this gateway, this intermediary thing that we're going to talk about first. So this is the gateway. This is your on-off ramp from IO deployments like advanced warning sensors or school zone beacons, any sort of remote in the field that you want to be able to bring on and control and monitor in the safety of your traffic control center or central management center. This is the product to do that. You can see that it can hook into your IP network here and communicate with remotes via RF. Now, there are some scheduling capabilities we're going to get into in a little bit, and it's all facilitated with this Gateway Basic. So all you need to know is this is the product that brings remote product deployments online into your system. This would be a remote. So because of the RF coax port here, it indicates that it's all based off of a 900 megahertz radio. And so that's how it communicates back to this device here, and then back to your system via the LAN. It is a contact closure, great for lighting control, advanced warning systems, mid-block crosswalk or crosswalk automation. And again, if you have any of these out in the field and you want to bring it back, all you need to do is pair it up with one of these guys. So what happens if you want to merge these two together, i.e., at your gateway site, you also need some contact closure capabilities. Well, then we're going to go to this guy here. This is Gateway Advanced IO. So it is your on-off ramp from your remote site deployments to your network. But it also has some IO capability built in. It has two inputs and outputs, analog and digital. So you're able to virtually use digital IO or 5-volt analog signals for measurement control, virtually anything you want. Temperature, light, gate control, everything like that, you're able to do with this Gateway Advanced unit. Now, if you need, like say, analog and digital inputs on your remote, then we would suggest something like the SPX Remote IO. Now, obviously, I only have 10 minutes, so I'm really motoring through this. But these are the components that are enabling us to provide that remote control and remote monitoring of beacon sites or any sort of sensor you have out in the field, and you'll be able to monitor it from the comfort of your office chair in your management center. So solar power site monitoring, done. This unit can do it. School zone flashing beacon management systems, done. And not only that is you can flash. So with school zone systems in particular, you can use a combination of this unit and this Gateway Advanced unit, and all the schedules for that site will be in this unit, and it'll flash the pertinent schedule to each remote in the field. So no longer do you have to go to a school zone a beacon and hook up your computer and actually flash the schedule and make sure the time clock is running properly and all that. You can do all of that from the comfort of your traffic management center. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to talk about in terms of the technical parts of those. However, this is a great example of how it works in a system. So you have your municipal WAN right here, be it fiber, wireless, broadband, or cell. And breaking off of that, you can attach a gateway basic to, say, like a city hall or a library, wherever there's a fiber access point. And then you can connect your SPX remotes here and monitor your school zone beacons. And this could be miles away. Line of sight is no longer an issue because we can tie into your municipal WAN. We can also manage lighting systems for parks and recreation. We can monitor very important applications in the water and wastewater world. Water levels or whatever it may be. The applications are virtually endless, and the applications can be controlled virtually, which is fantastic. So just a brief overview of some of the things you'll be able to do. Again, you can use Stratos or any SNMP enabled central management software with any IP network, and basically you're bringing on devices that previously you had no visualization to. You had to be on site. You can now do that remotely. So here are some of the features that we can do using school zones as an example. You can create, download, and manage all of your schedules. You can manually override from the comfort of your own chair. It's a very simple and powerful schedule editor, all done by drop-down menu. You can import, export, and then flash those remotely. You can synchronize all the time clocks across all school zone clocks. And more importantly, you can see every detail of the beacon schedule, the current time, and anything else you want to monitor. So that is all I had today. I hope I came in under my time, Yannicka, and that's all I have. Any questions?
Yes, you did. Thank you. Exactly. So, question for you: if any of your equipment currently needs to be serviced in the field, what precautions have been in place to do that with respect to COVID-19?
Well, I mean, the great thing is you'll be, if anything goes wrong with, say, SPX remote in the field in this post-COVID-19 world, what's fantastic is you'll be notified on your desktop. that is running the central software. So you'll know. And most of the problems can likely be solved from, with some configuration help and techniques from, remotely. Now, if you need to go out, we encourage everyone to maintain social distancing and maintain the protocols established by your municipality. And but what we're doing is you'll be able to see and get alerts that alert you to exactly what's going on, so you can be fully prepared, and it minimizes your time on site. And then on top of that, again, like I said, we just encourage everyone to maintain the protocols and SOPs as listed by your municipality or employer.
Thank you. And from a business perspective, have you found that it has impacted your work, the amount of work, or not?
I think that what has happened here with COVID and everything like that has really put an emphasis on the importance of doing what you can do remotely to do that. Like, you need to be able to increase efficiency and increase productivity remotely. So from a business standpoint, I think that has pushed that idea to the forefront of our customers' minds, and we are here ready with solutions ready to go, and we will help everyone achieve their goals remotely.
Thank you very much. And those were my questions. Thank you, Travis, very much for that. Next, Juan Moreno is a software engineer at Kapsch TrafficCom North America. Juan has 10 years of experience as an engineer working intelligent transportation systems. A graduate of the University of Seville in Spain, he relocated to New Jersey in 2017 and has been leading Kapsch TrafficCom's efforts in data analytics and performance measures in North American projects. Juan creates data analytic tools that obtain, process, and fuse large amounts of diverse data, providing interactive dashboards that guide decisions toward the improvement of traffic flow and safety. Juan, I am going to make you the presenter. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. I'm going to start sharing. Okay, so I guess you can see the cover of my presentation now.
Yes, I can. We can.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much, ITS Canada, for this initiative of these webinars and this opportunity to talk about the challenge of COVID-19. In my case, about data and data to support decision making. I will start by talking about how the coronavirus pandemic is transforming the way people use roads and city streets around the world. The efforts to slow the spread of the virus are leading to reduced traffic in major metropolitan areas, as many people are working remotely and avoid social interaction. However, essential workers such as doctors, nurses, grocers, commercial drivers, and delivery couriers, they are still commuting. And except for those who are self-quarantined, many citizens still have to make trips to purchase essential supplies. And this is in addition to many places that are starting to open up. So what are governments doing? Governments are implementing emergency actions to help movement happen more easily. And examples of those actions can be adding new bike lanes, retiming traffic signals, closing streets to help facilitate walking and cycling, or even suspending tolling on some key express lanes. And implementing such changes to the traffic of a city or a region presents challenges and raises many questions. And here we have some examples of those questions. When speaking of new bike lanes, how can we determine which avenues are no longer congested during peak hours, and maybe that makes them good candidates for those new bike lanes? Or regarding signal retiming, how do we identify the corridors that would benefit from that? Road closures, how to ensure that a road closure won't congest traffic in the surrounding area? Or regarding tolling, how to detect potential congestion on a corridor due to suspended tolling? So those are questions that come up when making changes to the traffic of a city or a region. And the answer is very much related to data. As governments respond to the coronavirus pandemic, tools that analyze data are key in supporting decision-making, evaluating changes, and assessing the benefits of operational measures. This means knowing where to act and being able to validate and quantify the results of these actions. And if we get in more detail, what is Kapsch doing in concrete? Kapsch is using its performance analytics insights product. It's an easy-to-use online tool that combines data from different sources to help cities and agencies make informed decisions and validate results. This is an example of a dashboard that we're using in New York City. In New York City, the Kapsch team supports the Joint Traffic Management Center, JTMC, by creating before-after analysis of all the major roadways in the metropolitan area. The results identify where congestion has disappeared because of coronavirus effects and which locations still present traffic slowdowns and why. It can be due to crashes, due to traffic merging, etc. More examples. In Dallas-Fort Worth, the North Central Texas Council of Governments, NCTGov, is using performance analytics insights to measure the decrease in accidents reported by the Departments of Transportation and the variations of traffic speeds and travel times on major freeways and arterials in the region. On the screen, what we're looking at is a freeway, US 75 southbound, where we can see how we're reaching free flow conditions, traffic moving at near speed limit, regardless of the time of the day. That's in the line chart, the line in red after the outbreak. Before the outbreak, we would see around 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Decrease on the average speeds of the highway. That's not happening anymore. For arterials, the travel times have significantly improved, but without reaching free flow condition. We can see again here in red, in blue before the outbreak of COVID-19, in red after the outbreak. Travel times are better in this arterial Preston Road northbound, but we don't reach that free flow condition. And I'm going to share with you a brief demo of this performance analytics insight tool. And I'm going to start by picking, let's see if I can, all right, picking a date range, in this case, the whole month of March and Monday to Friday. So we're gonna be looking at weekdays for US 75 southbound, which is one of the major freeways we had mentioned. And we're looking at average speeds for each of the segments of the road moving towards Dallas. And these average speeds, we can see some congestion when we get closer to the Dallas downtown. That's a reason why we're going to do a selection and we're going to focus on that segment of the road. But we want to see results by day. So we're going to move to another dashboard where each of the rows of the speed heat map is one day of the month. And the interesting thing is to see how in the 16th of March, social distancing measures started and there's no congestion anymore and speeds are very high. If we want to measure this change, we can go and create a chart where we can, for example, compare in March, weekdays of the first week of the month, which is before social distance measures, and we compare it to the last month of the month of March. So the last week of the month of March, those 5 days. And now that we had the selection, the results are what we were looking at before. In the last week of the month of March, we can see how the traffic in this freeway is reaching basically the speed limit, no matter the time of the day. And in the travel time chart, we see how the peaks that used to be in the AM and the PM has flattened. So that's an example of the performance analytics tool by Kapsch and how to create this kind of analysis. I want to finish this presentation by talking about the future. We've talked today about how the coronavirus pandemic has highlighted the benefit of utilizing data analytics tools to support decision making and to validate results. And at some point in the future, this unprecedented situation will end, and that's what we all hope. But the thing is that these tools will remain valuable, and they will remain valuable for everyday decisions, such as when to close a roadway for construction, or to help evaluate results from operations, for example, signal retiming programs, and to validate investments, making those before and after analysis. So that's all I had for you today, and just wanted to let you know, please feel free to reach out to me by email or adding me to LinkedIn if you're interested in data analysis and in using it to address mobility and safety challenges. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Juan. Excellent. Priscilla is wondering, is the performance analytics tool by Kapsch a cloud-based system?
Right, it can be delivered in a hosted solution or in the cloud. So both options are available for our customers.
Thank you. I have a question. I live in the Greater Toronto area, and we have seen in neighboring cities, Brampton, but also Toronto, where these temporary bike lanes have been arriving. They call them, I think they call them pop-up bike lanes. You talked a little bit about data analytics on bike lanes. Does your product also gather data on these pop-up bike lanes that we see?
So right now, what the tool offer is ways to measure speed, travel times, volumes. So the idea would be, since a street has changed its configuration, do we see changes on the volume of traffic? Does it create some congestion? Sometimes it's not even in the same street where the changes have been implemented, but in the surrounded area. And then answering your question, if interested, for example, in checking, since we put the new bike lanes, the pop-up bike lanes, are we noticing an increase of the use of shared bikes, for example? And that's a matter of integrating another data source. That's what we're doing constantly. We're looking for different data sources that can add like more context to the dashboards that we offer. So yeah, it's a potential field.
Thank you. The other question I have is on the data collected on the I-75, I think you referenced. Are you able to separate out data collected from CVO, commercial vehicle operations?
At this moment, we're not separating it, but it's again something that it's a matter of accessing data sources that provide that kind of field. what I mean by this is that we have endless filtering options in our data. But sometimes, like for example, what we've seen in the US 75, we're a little bit constrained by the data source that we're reading. So the answer is not in this project in the US 75, but again, potentially, yeah, one of the things that we can do, more vehicle classification.
Be interesting to see, because I know in the Greater Toronto Area, I have the feeling that there has been an increase in the movement of goods by big trucks. We have seen larger trucks in the Greater Toronto Area, but also more in the neighborhoods where we live. So thank you very much, Juan. I'm going to share my screen back to me here. And it's 2:29, and with 1 minute left, I would like to thank Suliman, Emily, Travis, and Juan for your insightful presentations. I would like to thank all attendees for your time today, and I look forward to seeing all of you and at our next webinar on May 12th next week. I wish everybody to stay safe and stay connected. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.